What's up, Tiki Team? Welcome to the channel. My name's Spesh, helping you conquer the Horde, and today we are talking about the ending cutscene for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies Forsaken map. And first and foremost, if you have not already seen the cutscene for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War's Forsaken map, major spoiler warning upcoming. Were Sam and Eddie working together this whole time? So as we know, it's kind of weird to think about Eddie maybe being a good guy here, but maybe it's not so much that Eddie was a good guy in this map as Samantha was actually a bad guy. As we learned from intel throughout the game, we learned that the director was basically torturing Samantha, trying to get her to use her powers and to basically harness what had been given to her while she was in the Dark Aether. Obviously, Samantha had these powers in the previous Aether universe, but it seemed like when she came over to this brand new universe, she had no recollection of any of this. She was an amnesiac. She didn't know her birthday. She had no idea who Eddie was, so on and so forth. Now, hear me out here. Is it possible that Samantha went into the Dark Aether a second time on purpose? Is it possible that Samantha and Eddie are playing the long con here and are actually trying to harness the powers of the Dark Aether themselves? On one side, Requiem, on the other side, Omega, and on the third side, Sam and Eddie. So while it seemed like the director was actually torturing Samantha, trying to get her to harness her powers, maybe he was trying to prepare her and help her understand that she needed to go back into the Dark Aether so she can become even more powerful. As we know in the former storyline, Samantha was in control of the zombies inside of the Aether and basically garnish all of her powers from that. And then in this storyline at the Firebase Z map, when Dr. Peck threw her back into the Dark Aether, she either A, unlocked the powers she already had that she didn't know about, or B, once again had those powers bestowed upon her. So thinking about it like this, the director was letting everyone know that they're taking down Requiem and that Samantha is gone and no longer a problem towards the end of this storyline and this cutscene. Maybe that was his way of kind of getting himself out of the things going on with Requiem, and Project Janus could possibly be a way for him to ascend to an even higher form of power. Now, I've also heard some rumors that maybe the boy that died inside of the fire that we heard about in intel in seasons past was actually Richtofen's son, and that he blames Samantha and Weaver for that. And honestly, that is a really strong possibility. And maybe that is why he's torturing her, and that's why it seems like the director has it out for Samantha and Weaver themselves. But now with Weaver and the rest of Requiem in custody along with the strike team and everybody else, Samantha is stuck inside of the Dark Aether. As we know, there's a good chance the director actually wants to harness the powers of the Dark Aether himself. And maybe he was able to convince Samantha that that was the right thing to do, that she needed to go back into the Dark Aether to harness these powers. So when they were talking about what was going to be happening at the new Forsaken map, and she was ready for a quote-unquote first domino, maybe the first domino was actually Samantha going back into the Dark Aether. If the idea is for them and Eddie to basically harness the powers of the Dark Aether and kind of rule over both realms, both the regular world and the Dark Aether, having somebody on the inside like Samantha who could maybe bring things out and find a way to communicate with Eddie through the Dark Aether so they can scheme and plan, whereas obviously most people are going to think that Samantha's dead. Most people are going to think Samantha's in there, she's gone, but realistically we know that Sam can stay in the Dark Aether for long periods of time and be alright. The question is, does she transform similar to how Zykov did? As you know, Zykov, after 40 years in the Dark Aether, became the Forsaken. It's pretty tough to tell at what point he actually became the Forsaken, but at some point he became this big-ass monstrous being, and we don't really know how long that took. Just after a few days in the Dark Aether, Samantha garnished these powers that she had once she came out. So, as we know, she's been in there for at least 5 years at the end of the cutscene, unless somehow she magically got out. And if Peck's plans are to reopen the Dark Aether to hopefully save Samantha from that area, then maybe, just maybe, he's in on it with Eddie and Samantha. It's also very possible that the director and Omega had been working together this whole time, because as we know, the director has been heard speaking Russian plenty of times. So was he on the same side as Omega and Kravchenko? Honestly, it's impossible to say at this point. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I hope this video helped you out. Don't forget to leave it a like, and I'll see you soon. I want to give a quick massive shout out to any of our channel members or Twitch subs over on the channel, and a big extra shout out to the Zombie Richtofen member, starting off with hashtag bestmod strict archer, the quippest man in the Southern Hemisphere, Commander_Quip, and the man, the myth, the legend, Tis Brandon ZR.